Right, so everybody has their cards.
Yeah.
We're going with our second statement / question. This one is short, simple, and sweet. Do you believe that male privilege is equally afforded to all men?
Wait, how you answer now? We can't. Wait, that's not.
So, red if you emphatically
Right,
disagree.
cool. Sorry, my bad. No, it's okay.
Right.
Had a little moment there.
So everybody disagree.
Everybody
Yeah.
strong.
Can we have some ruckus facts? Facts from the culture, man.
According to masculinity's theory, masculinity is not a biological imperative, but a social construction. As we mentioned earlier, men engage in constant struggle with other men to prove their masculinity. A multidimensional approach sees categories of identity, including various forms of race, class, and sex-oriented masculinities, as operating simultaneously and creating different effects in different contexts.
I don't have a thing to say again after that. That's it, Roxas.
Well, I'm just going to train something.
Throw it in.
Masculinity does not exist in a vacuum. Masculinity in the African construct, masculinity and femininity exist together, always in balance, right? And so no discussion can occur on masculinity without automatically incurring and bringing into being and space its opposite, femininity, whatever that means. So
Balance.
So to me, in every man there's the female and the male. Again, different constructs, right? I don't know. Yes, there's certain imperatives that different groups display, and we, in talking about gender as a social construct, we have to admit there is biological imperatives as well, and we have to balance that, right? And it is important. When I say biological imperatives, human beings in isolation of patriarchy, and they found tribes and groups. There is certain men have more testosterone in general. More testosterone does produce some, and we can't ignore it. Like in speaking of the social, there's the biological. In speaking of the male, there is the female, and so that we constructing the conversation on what is, and not just on the idea alone. As for male privilege, this space is a space where the discourse has to be more privileged. The other day I see a white woman in Westmoreland buying an avocado. And when I watch her, she hold the avocado to her chest. And she watched me, and the conversation between us was, I get to be Trini and have avocado too. Right? And I was like, oh shucks. The enslaved and the slaver. That one conversation can't happen without the other. And how does privilege play out in space? All kind of ways. You know? With my grandmother, I was the last boy child with the family name. There's something about that, right? Right? When I in work, and I work in a feminist space because the government I work for says. So all the leaders in this space are women. How do I be brilliant or exist in that space knowing that for a while, for a couple 100 years, Benji had to take the L on some things for balance to come into play, and I cool with that. I just saying that it's all things that have to be part of the conversation for me.
Ashlee, I saw that you had.
Oh no, I
your
wanted you
card
to,
up.
just to like expand a bit on the biological imperatives. I mean, you started, but then you stopped. You said some, but like when you say testosterone, what are some of the traits that you see that men inherently have, or people who
So a different way to say it is people who have higher testosterone levels exhibit different behaviors than people with lower testosterone levels. If there's women who have high testosterone levels, they actually display some of the behaviors: aggression, dominance of space, combativeness. Right? Is it all socialized? I think not. Is it all biological? I don't think that's either. Like we're making it too simple.
Yeah,
If this is a dangerous statement, but sometimes you gotta make it. I actually am in support of things and can disagree with things, and the two things could exist together.
Yeah.
A transgender woman can't tell me certain things about having a period every month because they didn't go through it, and it's just what it is. Like I have found there's a lot of people who try to tell me what it's like to have a penis. You didn't have one.
Right.
Sorry, homie, I had to stand up and pee, and when the foreskin got a little infected, I had to deal with that.
And all kinds of things.
It's all kind of. I'm not saying better, I'm not saying worse. I'm not saying a woman who studies deeply cannot aid men in masculinity. I'm not saying none of that. Because remember, we have this thing where saying one thing automatically means cancel out the next. And that's how I say.
I have a question for you because it's something that I feel like I am kind of close to. I've always felt like I have more feminine energy than some of the men around me, right? Always felt that way. What you feel like is the role of the man who might feel that even more than I feel it? Because I still think I carry a heavy masculine energy, but within the space, sometimes a man like that is ostracized for his views, right?
Which space?
The space we exist in.
Again,
Yeah.
in certain African tribal contexts.
This space.
I see, that's the trick.
Within our space.
In our space, there's
Yeah.
always been space for the feminized male. There's always been space for it. No,
Is it a
it's changing because we have America pumping in.
okay?
By talking about I growing up, it always had men who was finny. We wasn't on them, you know. When I say we're not on your dog, there's my brethren.
Right.
When you say feminine energy, tell me what you mean by
yes,
that.
same, because I always am very
When you
conflicted
say
with,
that you
with,
think
with
you're energy, tell me what you mean by that.
It was a subtle noticing in myself of the things I noticed that other men did not pay any attention to inherently from a very young age. So
Small.
somebody might be playing and somebody fall down. And where other people will laugh, I genuinely will feel like, yo, let me help this person. And in general, like from a very, very young age.
Why do you say that's feminine?
Because socially it's categorized as that, being nurturing, being caring.
Right.
And to add to that, there was a point in like me coming up and thing, I had to understand as a young man playing sports, national team, all these things, that the feminine energy, as we call it now, is okay. In the sense of coming up, like you all said, me growing up in Chinapoo, knowing right. You's a boy, you's a son, your flick is gas tank had a buy,
That's right.
you go down the road for the gas tank, shop run, had a thing, help mommy with the bags, boo. But it also have a where's the wash. It have sheets to thing, clothes to fold. And in my sphere and thinking, those things didn't fall under my scope until after realizing, yo, I have no polarity of energy, it's just energy now. It's human energy. It's whether this needs to be done, that needs to be done. And a lot of that is missed by categorizing it as this or that versus just necessity. Because like he says, in other cultures, it's across the board now. Men
but
would
there's a
fetch
flip.
water. Pardon me?
There's a flick with that. Some of it is task-based.
Yeah, it's task-based.
Like if I
Feed the
ask
sheep,
my 9-year-old
goats.
son to lift up the tank and carry it, and if I ask my 9-year-old daughter to do the same task, sometimes she can't do that task.
yeah.
Flick it on the other side. If I ask my 9-year-old son to do certain tasks, my
can't.
brethren can't get it together.
Yeah.
That man like, right?
But are
And
you judging that based on somebody's ability or just social construct? Because most times we go based on social construct. It's not, well, okay, you could lift up this because you have muscles. It's because you're a boy. You'll have to fight up to move it. You're not able to do it, but you're a man, you're a male.
I end up having an older sister, so it would fall under her scope sometimes because she's generally older, and sometimes in my younger age she's stronger than her. So things that the boys would have had to do, the older sister might have had to help too. So that is what started to blur the line in the sense of, so it's not a matter of this or that, it's not a matter of you there to help or not.
I'd like to cue in Ashlee.
Yeah, so I have a question and then a comment. Let me do the comment first. No, the question. The question is, and I really appreciated you saying that, because when I saw like the scope of the conversation, I always hear people talking about like feminine and masculine energy, and the question I always think of is like, do we think that there's harm that exists in having these binary energies? Because of course it's inherently a social construct, right? And the other thing is that I'm probably like, when I think about if life was really like, in the traditional sense, I would have go through it hard because I cannot cook to save my life. I don't like cooking at all. I have to figure it out someday because it's a human thing. I have to learn how to eat and to survive, but I can't cook. right? And a lot of things that I grew up with you know, like seeing what happened in our household where yes, there were elements of you know, the binary, how you're taught about social construct, how boys are like they being able to go out and do whatever and play in the yard. Like even in primary school, conversations around menstruation, they have the boys playing in the savannah and they lock up the hall. The only time we got AC, they would close the hall doors and just talk to us alone. While the boys playing in the savannah. And they put a black thing to it so nobody could see it.
Whoa.
So is this again?
Yeah.